Just what you wanted, me singing the intros. Sure, you didn't want that, but you know what? I didn't want Neeb's probe going out for a hatch block, so neither of us get what we want. Well, maybe we do, because this is a Neeb versus TLO game, and you don't get that very often. That's a pretty cool combo. So we see Neeb's second probe is putting down that pylon, not his first. Don't know when that trend's gonna end. And with the acceleration zones on the map Dethaura, he's gonna get that probe over. Toot sweet. And so unless the little one's got something special planned for us, he's gonna be making his natural at an unnatural location. And indeed, all early signs point to a standard build for our Zerg player. Neeb is gonna commence the walling off with that initial gateway. And look at that, he faked out my observing by switching the location at the last moment. Look at that, he's sticking it to me already. And there's TLO with his unnatural natural. There, I've finally got a name for this ungodly phenomenon. Protoss, you know I love you, you know that, but it's gotta stop. Alright, Neeb's got his first gas on schedule, and we're expecting an extractor pool out of our Zerg player. For the uninitiated, his name is a line of baby clothing. But for us, he bears the legacy as one of the most creative players in all of Starcraft. He is the little one!
Current world rank 55.
His opponent is going Nexus before Core. And he's got that early Protesian worker lead thanks to the power of Chrono Boost. But give Zerg time, they will catch up. Our Protoss player is the first, air quote, foreigner to ever win the Triple Crown. He is Neeb!
Current world rank 19.
Neeb has been steadily rising in the rankings this year. He's starting to head back to the territory that he charted in his glory days. Pool's gonna finish for TLO. What has he got planned? 1 queen, make it 2. With a side order of 4 lings. So, if you go by rankings, and I kinda do, this is what you might refer to as a lopsided match. Core completes and Neeb starts up a chrono-boosted adept. No immediate sign of that tech choice. Ling speed has started for TLO. Oh, there goes a probe. Neeb's going for Stargate. That seems to be his favorite choice. Actually, it used to be every Protoss player's favorite choice. But recently, the Protoss have really been mixing it up. I've probably casted more Twilight Councils in the past couple months. But Neeb is pretty good with those oracles, especially after he mixes in a Phoenix or 2. But for his first phase of harass, Neeb is going to see if he can get anything done with his adept. Maybe some scouting, maybe some drone kills. TLO's already got 2 queens out though, and he's only really got 2 bases to cover. He started his third, but there's nothing happening there yet. But the queen at the unnatural natural is covering the wrong side. Neeb kills a ling, make it 2, the first of which was the first blood. And then the adept shades away with an evil cattle. You know, if adepts lived on Earth in the Middle Ages, they would have been burned at the stake as witches. And that would be wrong, people. That would be wrong. Ling speed's about to finish, and TLO's making 6 more lings. Neeb senses it. He's backing out. Oh, no, he's got a shade. This one's just a fake, though. Nobody's picking up the shade, though. Oh, he lets it finish. The adept has a great position tucked in between the minerals. The lings are going at it. The adept does not have a shade to get away. Wow, somehow Neeb did not get a single ling out of that. That is not an escaping adept. That is Neeb's second adept pulling back. She's not going to join her sister. Neeb now has an oracle on the map. TLO's Overlord's going to see that there is a Phoenix as Neeb's second aerial unit. He's going to want to get out of there. The oracle's on the way, but TLO has some harass of his own planned. A squad of speedlings are headed for the Protoss base. Both harassing attacks are going to hit simultaneously. TLO tests the door but finds it guarded by not 1 but 2 adepts. He pulls back. Neeb has picked up a drone kill. Spores are finished in the main and the unnatural natural. There's 1 finishing up at the 3rd. TLO's lings have been thwarted, but they have not gone home. It looks like everybody's parked their harassing units with the valet for now. I know what you're thinking, it's expensive and you never know how much to tip, but when you're a pro player, these are the types of things you can do. Looks like those lings are gonna attend the opening warp ceremony. A lovely event. But, surprise! The Master of Ceremonies is gonna be a pair of adepts. The lings are gonna have to get out of there while Neeb puts down his 3rd. Whoa! It's double Stargate for Neeb, and he's pumping Phoenix. Mass Phoenix can really mess up a Zerg if they don't have the spores and queens to deal with it. The Adepts are going to see what they can do about persuading TLO to take his lings home. Neeb is going to erect that protective sim city around his third. He wants to create that little nook for his Adepts to hide in. Also, shield batteries. He wants to make this a really tough take for the Zerg. Meanwhile, TLO has finished his Baneling nest. He's going to add a lair. That's not a hallucinated Phoenix, guys. That's actually a real one. Oh, it's Floodlings for the Zerg player. TLO wants to hit that third before the defense is set. There's 2 Adepts in a sentry. Is that enough to button the hatches? The Phoenix count has climbed to 5 with 2 more on the way. It's a pack attack! He's going after the shield battery. Oh! A sentry force field locks the Lings out. 1 Adept was left outside, but the other Protoss are protected. TLO decides to try to tear down the pylons. But the Oracle is here to help. Oh, but there are slow Banes coming in. Each Baneling does 80 damage plus splash against buildings. Neeb's forced to reveal his Phoenix to save his Nexus. He did not want to be using up his lift energy on Lings. With the cat out of the bag, Neeb's gonna look to counterattack. TLO instantly starts building additional queens and spores. He may not have gotten the Nexus, but he may have gotten an equally important prize. Oh, and he's gone back for that shield battery. Neeb's moving swiftly to do damage. He's gonna get a queen. TLO's gonna get a shield battery. And an Adept. And maybe a Nexus. That Oracle is just watching. It's like sitting there taking notes in class. There are 5 structural deficiencies to a Nexus. One of which is that they explode when ripped apart by Lings. Oh yeah! That's actually gonna supply block Neeb. Neeb continues to target the queens. If he can eliminate enough of them, he'll have run of TLO's base. He's got so many Phoenix, he can just absorb those spore hits. TLO's Lings are having a confused discussion. They were told to kill the Nexus. They did. What do they do now? Back in the Legacy of the Void days, they used to say the correct defense to Phoenix is to build more hatcheries. TLO goes ahead and starts a 4th. You can't lift that. Oh, but you can't trap those sentries who shouldn't have been moving out. What a save by Neeb. Every one of those sentries ought to be dead. TLO does get the cancel on the 3rd. TLO is pulling in more minerals than Neeb already. The longer he delays that 3rd, better a position he's going to be in going into that mid-game. Meanwhile, TLO's got a Hydra Den, and he's working on +1 range to go with his +1 armor. Neeb, though, is microing like a boss. Is he going to save those Adepts behind his wall? Well, not all of them, but some of them. Meanwhile, Neeb's Phoenix, where are they? There they are. They continue to plug away. But TLO is holding the worker lead, and once he can get his Hydras out in sufficient numbers, the Phoenix are going to cease to be cost-effective. Oh, I pity the probe that's been asked to drop that Nexus. Oh, he does have a Zealot escort. Neeb knows he's got to get serious about getting that 3rd down. The probe dies! Oh, but Neeb allocates another probe so fast, it just looks like a ghostly flash. The Roach Warren is just finished and Roach Speed has started. And TLO is just about done the Groove Spine upgrade. That'll give those Hydralists that extra +1 range. TLO just refuses to let that Nexus go up. But the Oracle has energy this time, and the Phoenixes are gonna lift the Lings away. He saves it. But it looks like the Phoenix offense has officially been retired. Neeb's transitioning. He stopped making them. He's got himself a Templar Archive. He's starting up Storm. He's almost done the Zealot leg upgrade and +1 attack. And he's adding gates for a classic Protoss Death Ball. All hail the mighty Battle Duck. The Hydras are ready, but there's no longer any Phoenixes in the neighborhood. TLO's gonna go ahead and add Hydra speed. Oh, the Phoenixes are coming back. It's been a bit of a flight of shame so far. Can they redeem themselves? It's a lot harder when there's Hydras out there. Neeb's gunning for that replacement queen. But he has to let it go. The Hydras are here. Neeb's forced to engage in long-distance mining. His 3rd is still not up, and it's starting to have an impact. TLO is pulling in way more minerals at this point. Neeb's gonna be so glad he got himself Storm. TLO's army is starting to get big, and it'll be a very tough hold without Splash. Now that Nexus is finally done, Neeb's gonna try to entrench it with shield batteries. TLO's building something of a creep highway here. He wants to be able to push his units towards the 3rd as fast as possible. And with those rocks out of the way, it's going to be even faster. Oh, those static defenses at the 3rd can't come fast enough. Neeb sending out one of his patented Zealot run-bys. That could work. TLO's brought the bulk of his army right up to Neeb's base. And he's gonna stake himself in uncontested position right at the top of that ramp. Anakin, I have the high ground! Yeah, my Ewan McGregor impression ain't much either. Uh-oh, I'm predicting a dead cyber core here. So of course TLO's units attack everything but the cyber core. Oh, here come the Templar. Oh, but they don't have the energy to actually storm yet. Has split his forces. Ramp, and he's working on the door to Neeb's natural. There's the storms. They are right on point. TLO's supply comes crashing down to Earth, but the Immortal's gone and TLO has broken into the natural. Meanwhile, Zeeb's Zealot Rembais made it all the way to the main. Wait, did I just call him Zeeb? That gives me an idea. Henceforth, I'm gonna rename Neeb's Zealots Zeebs. Or maybe Nellis. Well, whatever we call them, they are doing some damage now. But not as much as the Hydras. They've cleaned out the natural and killed 22 probes. Neeb is working on the cleanup. So is TLO. Not a lot of probe kills for Neeb, but the drone pulls have been critical. TLO's mining fell off, and for a brief moment, Neeb actually caught up on army size. Oh man, I want to make a video that is just squirming levitated units. If it was put to the right music, I think it could be hilarious. Oh man, I think I just gave myself another project. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Oh, here come the roaches. Life is a creep highway, and TLO's gonna roach it all night long. Roaches don't die to storms quite as easily as Hydras do. And Neeb has not rebuilt his wall. 3 roaches sneak in before Neeb can cut them off. They're going for the main. The rest of the roaches are keeping Neeb's forces busy. 3 probe kills so far. 4. Neeb is way behind on workers. TLO starts up a huge round of Hydras. Neeb's going for a warp prism. Actually, that's a second warp prism. His first one's already in action. He's warping in Zeebs. Well, those roaches have just been true to their namesake. They've been pests. Pests that refuse to die. Meanwhile, the Zeebs are running amok in TLO's base once again. I don't know what it is, but there's something about Neeb's Zealots. They're just so much more trouble than other players' Zealots. TLO spotted the warp prism and needs to get out of there. Neeb's attention is elsewhere. That gossamer wing construct goes boom. Those things are as fragile as they are beautiful. I still remember the early days of StarCraft when they had even less hit points. But I guess we now know why Neeb made a second one. TLO can't be expecting another warp prism in his base this quickly. TLO's Hydras take the I-95 creep highway back to Neeb's base. Hydra speed plus creep plus acceleration zones. Neeb's practically his next door neighbor. The Hydras are so fast they gotta wait for the Ravagers. Neeb's guarding his 3rd base location with the shield batteries, so TLO just swings around to his 4th base location. And voila, he's up the ramp. The leftover Phoenix cannot stop the Hydras. Every last one is deep in the red, they're nothing but shields. TLO's trying to set up a surround on the Death Ball. Neeb warping in at the Zerg 4th. Ah, but the roaches picked the Zeeb up. I've decided Zeeb is both plural and singular. It's just so much more convenient that way. I should really make up my own words more often. TLO can't seem to crack the Death Ball, but Neeb can't get rid of him either. How many storms does he have? Apparently just enough, and then he quickly changes the Templar into Archons. TLO's adding an infestation pig. He looks to be teching up, but for now it's Roach Hydra. And lots of it. Zerg remains ahead, but Neeb is slowly closing that gap. TLO does not want to let him breathe. He's sending in the next wave already. Neeb's gonna try to dart in again with that warp prism. It's just a couple of Zeeb, but there's only a spore to defend right now. And as soon as I say that, the roaches arrive. That warp prism's gotta be careful. It's gonna go boom like its predecessor. No, Neeb knows exactly how many hits he can take from a spore. It looks like the next wave is plain roach, no Ravager. But they are not gonna let Neeb get a 4th. Neeb hits cancel and tries to save his probe. This game's starting to fall into a bit of a pattern. Dare I say it, is it possible this game could have Crimson Zone potential? Oh, never mind that, the roaches just got position over the forge. There's an opportunity to shut down Neeb's +2. Oh, he's gonna get it for sure. The denied banner goes up on the right-hand side. Oh, that is so satisfying when you're playing a game and that happens. More importantly, it means TLO's gonna maintain the upgrade advantage for the foreseeable future. He's got +2 missile attack, and he's got +1 armor to effectively cancel out Neeb's +1 attack. Neeb is definitely behind the 8 ball once again, and his Zeebs have not been getting it done. But TLO cannot seem to close this out. Neeb's equal on army size once again. It's possible, though, that TLO could starve him out. Yeah, Neeb knows he can't just keep defending. He's going to try to push out. He doesn't particularly want to fight on creep, though. He's changed his mind. He's pulling back. And he's going to try that fourth again. Okay, the death count isn't even at 400. Never mind that Crimson Zone thing. Neeb's Archon count, on the other hand, is getting pretty high. That's going to be pretty tough to kill with just low mid-tech units. And Neeb is sneaking in another Warp Prism. Maybe he's decided that's where his offense has to come from. Ah, I like this. TLO's going to take a fifth. He's going to refuse to answer on the basis that it might incriminate him. Hey, it's a criminal law Starcraft II joke. I gotta remember that one. Oh, Roach is coming back down the highway. Neeb's trying to set up his fourth base yet again. But it looks like the action's gonna be at his third. There's a lot of shield batteries to cut through there, though. Oh, TLO's not after the base. He's trying to assassinate the Templar count. And he does, and he has. Oh, sure, he can lose those roaches, but that was a really good trade. Templar are gas intensive, and they need time to build that storm. Also, TLO's got his hive up. He's adding in a Viper. I was hoping I was going to sound really smart by saying Hydras plus Viper suggests lurkers, but he's already thrown down the Hydra Den. So now it just looks like I'm reading the production tab, which I kind of am. I'm also keeping an eye on the kill count, and we've just crossed 400. I could be wrong again. The forecast may call for Crimson tonight. TLO's going after even more Templar. He's selectively attacking them. He is a Templarist. You would think next to your shield batteries would be a safe place to stash them. But not so much. Neeb's adding in Immortals to try to deal with those roaches. He's also got to rebuild his Templar. We're dancing around a bit in circles, but I think the composition of the game's going to change once the lurkers get here. Also, Neeb's finally got his fourth up. Not only does that prevent him from getting starved out, it's going to give him a toehold to get back in this. TLO's maxed out, by the way. He wants to build lurkers, so this is a big opportunity for him to trade. That makes him so scary. He actually wants to lose units right now. He just wants to kill you while he's doing it. Oh, 425. The Crimson Zone forecast is rising. Oh, there's that Viper. He's finally flown all the way down. Oh, he's a Templarist too. Double abducts off of one Viper. Kills two Templars. If this keeps up, at some point the Templar are just going to refuse to be warped in. TLO's researching seismic spines. It's going to increase the lurker's range from 8 to 10. Oh yeah, Neeb's got to be really diligent about defending that fourth. TLO stopped making units. He's building a bank. That is going to be lurker money. And there's a lot of it. Though he has those started a sixth base in the upper right-hand corner. There's those lurker eggs. Oh, neat. He egg-trapped a couple of Ravagers. Oh, he's not waiting for them. He's attacking now. Oh, if Neeb knows what's coming, he's going to want to save some of those storms. TLO's extended the creep almost all the way to Neeb's base. Oh, there is a team of Zeeb in the top right-hand side of the map. But TLO seems to have it well in hand. Oh, lurkers are here! Stormfire! That's going to be so important for Neeb. It's going to be pretty hard for him to do a carrier switch at this point. Yeah, he's going to keep trying to build up that Templar count. TLO's bringing on the Hydras. And TLO's adding the Adaptive Talons upgrade. Oh, hold the phone. We've crossed the 450 threshold. With all these storms and all these lurkers, I think we're going to make it. TLO's getting position over the fourth. There's spines everywhere. It's like a geometrical pegboard. That Nexus is doomed. Okay, I was a little premature on that one. But still, Neeb split his forces. He's looking to see if he can do the sandwich. He doesn't want to face the spines, but he can't not face them either. Neeb has been supply blocked. Oh, he's going to go for it. He's going to need these storms to work. And he's going to give us a Crimson Zone. Not yet, not yet. There it is. We've hit the Crimson Zone. Neeb has kindly donated a ton of units to make it happen. He's using Revelations to get vision over the lurkers. And he's using the Immortals to try to dislodge, but he can't. It's GG. TLO wins the game! I didn't think it was gonna happen. Wow, the GG hits like seconds after the Crimson Zone. I almost feel like Neeb was holding out for it. He does have the record for the most Crimson Zone games on this channel. If you love your StarCraft long and bloody, we have an official playlist of Crimson Zone games, so don't hesitate to check it out. Of course, this particular game would go long, because I made the mistake of making this the first quick shot game. It's a new feature, well, a label really, for all the single games we'll be hosting on this channel. It's perfect for when you want a speedy hit of StarCraft and you can't devote your evening to watching a whole series. I know that happens for me. Once I have enough, I'll start a playlist of quick shot games as well. Okay, so I was going to do an analysis of this game, but I've got an important message instead. Well, maybe we'll do a really quick analysis. To me, the reason TLO won this game is he did something magical that only top-end Zerg seem to be able to do. He managed to win fights, significant ones, with just cheap lings. Somehow, in this game, he channeled his inner J-Dong, and his speedlings suddenly acted like they were cracklings. He denied Neeb's third over and over until he got ahead, and then he played out the game from there. Neeb's storms were so good, I thought he'd come back, but not this time. Neeb is the much more decorated player by far, but TLO wrestled this one off of him. But forget this game for a second. I wanted to make sure that you saw Pig's post on StarCraft Reddit. I'll include the link to the article in the description below, and it'll be in the video as well. Hopefully it's floating up there right now. The short version of it is, there is a fellow StarCraft fan and caster out there named THOR, and his infant son is dying of a genetic disease which is killing his spinal cord. There's actually an IV injection that can save Thor's baby, but it costs $2.3 million. I can't even wrap my head around that. But the staggering part of the story, the part that really interests me, is that somehow THOR has actually raised $1.9 million. I can't imagine how. So he's in the home stretch, and Pig is rallying the StarCraft community to help. So listen, I don't know THOR, and I can't vouch for this, but it sounds legit, and I'm going to risk a donation. His story is too amazing. Apparently the guy can't sleep because he spends his nights listening to his son's breathing, literally waiting in dread for it to die off, worrying that he'll be too late. Coming so far and falling short would just be too tragic. So look, I totally understand if you can't donate. We've all got our personal situations, especially with COVID and all. But if you wouldn't mind taking a few seconds to help spread the word, that would be awesome. I know I suck at social media, but some of you have to be better at it, and maybe we can help THOR out. To continue your StarCraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your StarCraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang StarCraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.